I sometimes miss the trip to the bank, though.
No, that's boring.
Really?
No. Hello and welcome to Outside the Box, where we explore what's happening online and why it matters. I'm Kim Horcher.
I'm AJ Patel, and Kim,
Yes.
my question of the day.
Do it.
When was the last time you went to a physical bank?
Well, last year I bought my first home
Okay.
and I didn't go to a bank. I did it all online. So to answer your question, I don't know.
No, I'm in the same boat as you. Today we are talking about the future of online banking and the future of online digital payments, digital wallets, digital transactions, everything. So if you ask most of your friends, right, like how often do they go into the bank? Do you think it's a pretty, consensus of, no one really goes into a physical location anymore?
I think you need to go if you need help or if you're doing something highly not usual, something
Right.
that's not every day. Like if you need a loan, but then I took out a loan and I didn't go in a bank, so maybe you don't have to. I think it's more for emergencies, but that's just my personal opinion.
You were telling me that there's also like this almost like mental safety when you go into a physical bank, when you have, let's say you have a large amount of money to deposit or something like that. Do you think that will always exist no matter how much this online world comes? Oh, really?
No, banks fail.
Okay.
It happens.
Yeah. So you think this online world will kind of slowly get our trust underneath it?
I think online banking is largely trustworthy. I don't think of it as particularly vulnerable or
Right.
scammy, but maybe people did right at the beginning of it, where it's just like I can trust what I can see what I can hold. It has to be tactile. But that has changed with all technology over the years.
I sometimes miss the trip to the bank, though.
No, that's boring.
Really?
No.
I remember sitting in the passenger seat. My dad is someone that still goes to the bank. So I'll tell you one happy story and then one, like not so happy story. But I don't know if people remember, maybe the listeners know about this, but when I used to sit in the passenger seat and my dad there's this tube that used to just shoot across, there used to be little driveways.
I've never seen one of those working.
Really?
I've just seen the leftover structure, how at Disneyland where they had rocket rods for one summer and
Right.
it's been there for 30 years now. That's what I think of those tubes.
It was the best. You used to put your money in, they shot it up, then they shoot it back with the receipt and a lollipop. I'm telling you, this is back then. I'm not lying. And like that was always kind of like this sense of nostalgia. And so now when I go to a bank, either let's say I'm going on an international trip and I want to have a large amount of physical cash on me, I kind of still have that memory with me. But at the same time, I also think some of the darker side, where my dad recently actually went to a physical bank and drove to another location to, I think like a dollar store to get a birthday card or something. And people broke into the backseat of the car to do a smash and grab and took the physical amount that was withdrawn. So, we always talk about on this show, we always talk about, online scammers and things like that. But this physical piece also
that's
has
not a scam. That is
Exactly.
a theft.
Yes, a theft, right? So this physical world also has a layer of, like, am I safer not doing this? Am I safer conducting online transactions where no one's really watching you necessarily? Of course,
I
if you're
mean,
protecting
there's
your cookies.
vulnerabilities there too. There's maybe less physical vulnerabilities like having your car smashed and grabbed,
Right.
but there's certainly many exploits when it comes to a digital wallet as well. I mean, there's hacking. Someone could steal your device. You could be the victim of a phishing attack. There's malware. Also, having it tied to again, a physical device like your mobile for your, mobile wallet. What if your battery dies? What if you lose your phone? What if you break the phone? What if there's no internet?
It's one of my biggest fears now. As we kind of say, we're getting to this topic of, digital wallets is when I go somewhere and I'm wanting to make a transaction, my biggest fear is that they don't accept Apple Pay. And so I guess we should start with the question of what is a digital wallet in your point of view?
A digital wallet is something, typically it's an app or a website. It's usually if you're having a mobile device, an app, and it stores payment methods such as credit, debit, crypto, straight direct bank accounts. And it has some sort of encrypted security and ability to do contactless payments, which is big. I think that's most people's doorway in, which is it's a lot simpler than reaching into my wallet and pulling up a thing and doing the thing. Maybe my card will get skimmed,
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's vulnerabilities everywhere.
It was so interesting how fast we went from swipe to insert to digital tap. I feel like the insert period lasted maybe a couple months. And then by then we were tapping, whether you were tapping the credit card or like we're talking about the digital wallet. Do you like the digital wallet?
I
Do you
do.
use it every day or?
I actually went to a smaller market and I tried to tap to pay, and they're like, "We don't do that," and I had to get my card out and
Oh
put
my
it in the slot,
gosh.
and I was thinking, "Am I spoiled?" Because I think this is a pain, but it really isn't.
All of these things feel like we're getting to this point of what's going to be happening with the physical money. Because now, like your Facebook marketplace transactions are happening over Venmo. All these tap to pays have gotten rid of like physical cash. I still think physical cash is a big thing.
It really depends where you go.
Sure.
Because some places just won't take. I mean, even contactless, they won't take credit card even.
Yes. Sometimes when I try to do tap to pay for like with an Amex card, they're like, "Oh no, sorry, we don't do
They
that
have to
here."
pay a fee for that.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, I sometimes may need to carry a different card.
Yeah. I mean, I don't carry cash, and I'm usually fine. And I think that speaks to the ubiquity of digital wallets and contactless payments.
Yeah.
Because I really lean on those.
So as we get more and more into this world of digital wallet, the one thing I feel like is still a big inconvenience for me is having my physical ID, whether it be a passport, driver's license, no matter what it is. Do you think we'll get to a place where now I don't have that in my wallet, right? Now it's on my phone as well.
One can dream. I mean, it's starting to roll out.
Okay.
I believe the figure I heard was 11 states utilize this in some form, maybe
Right.
not widely accepted. They are accepted at some airports, but not other places. Like you can't go to a bar and
Yeah.
have the bouncer scan
Scan
your
your
digital ID.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, but that is where I would feel like the most convenience comes from, and honestly, security, right? Where I cannot impersonate someone else's digital ID, right? I have to go,
Couldn't
let's
you?
say I still have to go to the DMV
What
to
if you
get
looked
this.
a lot like them?
Really?
Maybe.
I feel like it would have to, like, if it gets to a point where it's 1-to-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
One phone can have one ID. One phone can, so you can't hold your wife's or husband's ID.
children's.
Right. Ooh, so then that
Yeah,
gets a
that's
little
kind of a
tough. Yeah,
problem.
so that gets tough.
Yeah.
You want to be able to have their ID also. But, like you just said, you might be able to fly out of LAX with this physical ID, but when you're flying back from, let's say, LaGuardia, they may not accept it.
Maybe.
So now you're stuck answering questions behind whatever third wall.
I would love it if that could work. I
Right?
would just love it, but it's going to take a lot of work for wide acceptance.
Have you ever lost your ID?
Yes, I put it on top of my car and then I drove my
Oh,
car
no.
and then someone mailed it to me, which was very nice.
It would never happen if it was on your phone.
That's true.
The ID thing I'm just looking forward to it so much. I just had a friend actually visit and he lost his driver's license and passport. So he was using an OCI card, which I don't even know 100% what that is, but it was like a picture of him when he was 8. And we went to a bar and the lady was just like, "What is this?" Like what?
I'm not accepting this
what?
picture of an
Seriously.
8-year-old.
And so when you fly out, right, what you have to do is you have to like go into the to the back room and they question you. They say like, "Okay, what's your mom's name? What's your address?"
No,
and
I
stuff
don't
like
want
that.
this.
Yeah.
I changed my mind.
Isn't that crazy?
I'll do the papers.
If you lose your ID, it becomes one of the biggest headaches ever. And if you run out of questions, then you just can't fly. So they won't be able to ask, your spouse's name multiple times. And so
I
then you're
asked,
just
I put very stupid answers to my online
no.
questions that like don't make sense from a logical point of view.
Sure.
Like you could ask me what is my favorite candy and it'll just say like Detroit. It doesn't make sense to anyone but me.
No.
What if I forget?
Yeah. And then we're stuck. We're stuck in
We're stuck,
LaGuardia.
we're stuck. We
I
live in the
think-
airport now, like that movie.
Seriously, I'm excited for where IDs will go as far as like the, how they kind of live in sync with digital wallets. But I agree that there will still need to be some type of physical form.
I mean, there's always the problem of what happens when your battery runs out. What happens if you lose your device? And I guess we move into fully biometric IDs, which
Yeah.
is a little dystopian sci-fi. Maybe we're not ready for that yet.
Now they'll really be putting the chip inside of you.
I don't want it. I don't want it. I thought about it a lot. Biohacking, sure don't want it. Not yet.
Even right now, right? People freak out when their phone dies. I freak out when my phone dies.
I freak
Where it's
out when it
just
hits 20%.
I can't even start my car without it.
What?
So what do I do, right? I don't carry a physical key. I mean, I do now because of LA.
You
has
should.
valet everywhere, right? But in that world, right? You don't have an ID. You don't have any type of contact. You have
I
to
can't
just
depend on a battery.
right. So all of this to say, I'm looking forward to where it goes, but I think right now, we're still treading lightly with state to state regulations, no matter where it goes.
Or we improve battery technology. Think about it. It's one chain to another chain, and it's all tech all the way down.
Perfect world. The next thing I wanted to ask you about was this world of digital banks. So when I say this, I don't mean, when you have a Bank of America account and you go online to bankofamerica.com, but banks that have no brick and mortar sites. So you can only do this online. How kind of familiar are you with some of these?
I have an online-only bank account, and I
Okay.
actually really like it, but it does depend on being at least some way connected to a larger bank
Sure.
so that I could, transfer to transfer.
What were some of the ones that you said exist
We
currently?
have Ally,
Okay.
SoFi, Varo, few
Oh,
more.
Our favorite.
Say it.
Maybe not our favorite. My favorite. Chime.
Okay, your favorite.
There you go. Yeah. So, like all of these digital banks, do you think they've been something that maybe it's a generational thing, right? So our parents may not be the biggest fan of these, but we
My
are
dad is
starting
a
to
big fan of
really.
them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How,
I think it's adoptable.
how did you sell that?
I didn't sell it. He was like, "Oh, good rate? Yes."
Oh,
Yeah.
so like the offerings make sometimes a difference.
Sometimes, you get a high yield savings account with a percentage you can't resist. And if they're trusted, if it's FDIC insured, I don't see a reason why not to.
Because what I feel like they're missing on the physical side. So, for example, I recently got married, and when you receive some of these gifts, and let's say it's cash gifts, I didn't know, okay, how do I deposit this into a SoFi account?
Do they have any connection with a larger bank? Because some of them are like, yeah, you can use these ATMs
Right.
and connect straight to us.
Oh, I didn't know that. So what I had to do is put it into a, like let's say a traditional bank of Bank of America, Chase, whatever, and then transfer that over to the online only bank. And so for that, it's like, okay, that piece is inconvenient for me.
I think there's a way around it.
But some of the other things that online banks present, right, where you go into the app and you say, okay, I know how much interest is going to be charged on, let's say, this credit card, and this transparency into the world of I want to be able to have my money and know what's being done with it, and all of these things I feel like has come with kind of the world of tech evolving. So these modern day banks is the same thing as like these online.
It's very
banks.
similar. I mean, if you're not going into the branch, is it that dissimilar from an online only bank?
Sure.
If you're using the online portion only.
Yeah. True, because the only other thing I could feel like is a useful piece of a physical bank is a bank with like safety deposit boxes. So maybe you don't want to keep valuables at your house.
Yeah,
but
my
instead you go to
parents
the-
do that.
Really?
Because they have valuables and I don't have valuables, so I don't need a box.
But do you think?
No, my mom is like, I keep my jewels in here. And I was like, oh, I keep my jewels. Oh, no, I don't have any.
Well, like the traditional method, I guess, would be, well, super traditional under the mattress, right? More safe than that. People have safes at home, but I think I would love to get to a place where, okay, now I have a safety deposit box. Someone else is guarding that; they're liable for it. Do you think you'll want that, or
No.
is it a thing where we just won't have as much physical, tangible items, and more things will be like a digital currency or a digital asset?
I'm more apt to keep my assets digital
Okay.
just because I can move it easier, I can access it easier, and I just don't like carrying valuable things with me. Like
Sure.
I would freak out if I had hundreds of dollars in my purse right now or something like that. I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer it to be behind that layer of, let's just, that layer of encryption, let's say, or that layer of difficulty to reach.
Do you feel like there's a safety that is presented with these online bankings? And maybe not necessarily the online only banks, right? The Chimes, the Allies, but how Bank of America, Chase, Capital One have all created this, they're all apps now. You can easily online bank with all these folks now. Do you think that has just moved with the times, or it's also a very secure way to keep all your like monetary assets?
I mean, it's going to differ from person to person. Like some people are very comfortable putting all their assets in crypto,
Yeah.
but I personally wouldn't feel comfortable because I need to have that insurance. But, everyone's different.
Yeah.
For me, I'm comfortable with an online wallet or a digital wallet, rather.
So Kim, I have a little factoid for you.
Yeah.
I got this from an article from World Business Outlook. Digital banking is now the baseline, not innovation. 80% plus of US customers primarily bank online. Mobile banking use has nearly doubled in branch visits. So do you think in 5 years, 10 years time, we're going to skew more towards that digital aspect?
It's only going up because our expectations will change. Like you said, it's not innovation, it's the floor. This is the ground level expectation. And from there is where we move up, we move forward. You know, maybe we find more reasons to do our banking online or more security even and more transparency and feeling like, oh, it's safe to do this.
A question for the audience. Are you all in on digital banks, digital wallets? Let us know in the comments.
And subscribe to the channel and be sure to download Firefox because you know it's the best. We'll see you next time.